Well, hey, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, welcome out. TGIF. NF. I tell you what, TGIF. Thank goodness it's Friday. Thank goodness it's Friday night flights. And we are sitting out here tonight at New Hampshire. Now, you know what that means. That is race 3 of our race 6, week 6. Now, we are out here on Monday. We served out 11 cautions at New Hampshire. Quite a lot. They improved it up on Tuesday by 2, got it down to 9 cautions. But tonight we drive big boy cars out here in week 6. Right off the bat, ladies and gentlemen, I am Scott Kolovic, your announcer for the evening. And we've got a very good night set out here tonight. Sitting out here at New Hampshire. This is KMA TV. And I am Scott Kolovic, your announcer for the evening. All right, now as I said, we are sitting out here at New Hampshire. Drivers are finishing up their qualifying times. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, it is all about Blaze Pizza. Blaze Pizza, big shout out there to Greg McClendon. Greg McClendon joining us out there on that track tonight. Hoping to see a lot of Greg McClendon out here, but nonetheless, if you've never checked out a Blaze Pizza, check them out. Blaze Pizza. Best pizza you can find out in your local hometown. Big shout out there to the fans out there on the KMA TV chat. Big shout out there to all these racers out here tonight. Got a great night out here for racing. Great temperatures on this 1 mile track. A little bit of short shooting as we've been running out here all night. But going to be a good night out here tonight. At least that is what we are hoping for. Good weather out here tonight. 65 on that air and 75 on that track. All righty, ladies and gentlemen. Taking a look at our qualifying order out here tonight. Going to see what's up with who got it out there on that pole position. And it's looking like it's going to be Scott Sanderson. Scott Sanderson out there on that front line with a 27.841, second position belonging to Blake W. Heather. Big shout out there to Blake. Scott with a 27.841, Blake with a 27.905. Travis Browder sitting in third place, Jack Watson fourth. George Stratton, good friend of Blaze Pizza, there sitting up there with Dark Horse Racing in fifth. Along with John Bunton, Paul Pellizier in 7th, and Lee Staples with Black Talon sitting back in 8th position. 9th position belonging to Edward Bray with Black Talon and Ronald Klein with RTK Motorsports sitting back in 10th. 11th position, Brad Reed with RTK, Colin Bauer sitting over there in 12th. 13th position, KMA's very own Boston Red Sox fan Donald Stewart. And the number 19 rather than the normal number 78. Greg McClendon, our sponsor, with the most, position 14 in the number 40. William Vandiver with Dark Horse, side by side with Gary Whitmer Jr. Hey, big shout out there too. Gary Whitmer Jr. being rooted on by Mom and Dad Whitmer out there on that KMA TV chat. Jason Russo back in 17th. David Buttersworth, Joel Guy, Lee Ryerson, Danny Rudy back in 22nd. And Chris Hogue back in 23rd. All right. We are out here in race 6, ladies and gentlemen, and we are getting ready to rumble. Scott Sanderson taking our pole position tonight. All righty. Now, as we know, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a rough week out here at New Hampshire. Now, as I mentioned, on Monday, 13 cautions. On Tuesday, 12 cautions. let's see what the boys have got out here tonight as we take off our green flag start. Number 13 of Blake Heather in front of the number 18 of Travis Browder. That is Travis Browder in the green Interstate Battery coming up on the lucky number 13. A lot of braking going on out here tonight. Scott Sanderson leading us off for 100 laps of racing. We'll see what they have learned from the Monday's race and the Tuesday's race. Something I've learned is not to give out trivia questions to the fans out there on that KMA TV chat. Because I tell you what, they're just a little bit too much for me, and they're out there doing their thing, and well, I'll tell you what, quite honestly, on the ball without a doubt. Off to a very good start out there tonight. Hoping for a lot of green flag racing. But I tell you what, it's going to take a lot of patience out here tonight at New Hampshire on this 1 mile speedway. Scott Sanderson out here running for his life. Now, on Tuesday night, the winner of that race led the vast majority of laps. Travis Browder has scored second place and second place on Monday and Tuesday. Did a very good job, but we've got 1-2 up there in front. Travis in the green Interstate Battery in third. Fourth and fifth, Jack Watts, John Bunton, seeming to get a little racy here early on lap 4. Jack Watts with a big run out there on the number 78. And that's why the number 78, Donald Stewart, does not have his number 78, because John Bunton, representing Dark Horse, took it away. John Bunton narrowly grazing up onto that wall, being chased down by his teammate George Stratton in the number 24 Napa. Lee Staples in the red Black Talon, sitting back in position 7th, up 1 spot. Ronald Klein, very safe distance. Edward Bray, Black Talon in the red and black as well, being chased down by Paul Pellizier, the number 31, hot on his heels. This is number 19 of Donald Stewart. A little bit tighter racing here with the number 61 and the number 14 of Jason Russo, along with Gary Whitmer Jr. in the number 5, and William Vandover and Joel Guy. Side by side with Brad Ream and Jason Russo on lap 8 of 100. Big shout out there to the fans on the KMA TV chat. Had some trivia going early on in the week with the ladies out there, with Becky, Mama Patty, Kristen, and Chris Hogue was out there, and Becky Whitmer. And I tell you what, folks, I could not keep them stumped. They did a very great job out there. Thinking the ladies and Chris had my cheat sheet. So I'm all out of trivia for the night, but I tell you what, I can certainly offer you up a couple of in-race questions. Would like to see our fans out there on the KMA TV chat typing up their favorite driver. And a big answer to Becky Whitmer. No, ma'am, that was not the bell. I have not gotten the bell yet, but I'm going to get me a bell. Ding, ding, ding. Going to get me a bell. I got this radio station I listen to. And, you know, they give what day it is, whether it's National Daiquiri Day or National Hug Your Kitty Cat Day or National Ring Your Doorbell Day or whatever it is. But every time the guy says something like that, ding, he rings that bell. What you heard, Becky, was actually my phone alerting me that we were going straight to grid. So that's my backup sensor. But glad to see that our KMA TV chat friends are out there paying attention to us up here. Scott Sanderson out there on that lead lap. Now, Scott Sanderson, interesting situation going into pit row on lap 12. Well, I'm sitting here scratching my head, not so sure why Scott Sanderson would go in early. Right now it's lap 13. We know they're looking at about a 40-lap fuel run. He's out there on that pole position, gets that number 1 spot. But why, oh why, would Scott Sanderson, no tires? Wow. You know what? All right, Becky, you're going to have to remind me of this here. Why did Scott Sanderson go in on pit row on lap 12, coming back out on that track in front of the number 13, Blake Heather? Blake Heather currently our race leader. So we now know that when you make a green flag pit stop with no tires, it's going to put you exactly 1 lap down. Blake Heather, our race leader, Scott Sanderson, not yet 1 lap down. As soon as the number 13 of Blake Heather passes Scott Sanderson, though, he will be 1 lap down. But why did Scott go into pit row? I'm sitting here seriously scratching my head. You know, he took no tires. So Scott and Blake are on the same tire load. Scott's got more fuel. Well, Becky's thinking to make an adjustment, very possibly so, but I tell you what, I don't know. You know, when you're on a 40-lap fuel run, you go in on 15. He was out there in the lead. He had that lead. I'm not so sure that adjustment might not have been able to wait 25 more laps. I don't know. We're going to see how it goes out here, but I am in a state of confusion. Nonetheless, Blake Heather, our race leader, chasing down Scott Sanderson, our prior race leader. But right now, fighting it out for that lucky dog, dropping on back to position 2 in Travis Browder. Sitting out there by his lonesome John Burton. Not much competition out there for 3rd place. Jack Watts and George Stratton battling out for positions 4 and 5. Lee Staples running solo tonight. Edward Bray solo as well. Looks like we got a little bit of action back there with Donald Stewart and Jason Russo. Donald Stewart missing his number 78 tonight, sitting back there in the number 19, trying to track down the number 31 of Paul Pellizier.
Getting ready to have a caution out. Caution's out.
Caution is out. Taking a look at our very first caution of the night, we've got the number 23 of Chris Hogue. Alrighty, a little bit of an odd situation there. Chris Hogue representing RTK Motorsports. Now we're going to back that right up, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a look at what happened exactly to the number 6 of Chris Hogue. Chris Hogue right along just fine, coming around turn 3. Letting out of that fuel down onto that track and braking just a little bit loose right there. Oh no! The way he broke loose, I am thinking mechanical failure. because it looked like he pretty much just took a right turn out there in that front line. All right, ladies and gentlemen, nonetheless, our first caution of the night, and we have got Blake Heather out there on that front line. But I tell you what, the man, Blake Heather going into pit road, but the man I'm looking at is Scott Sanderson. So let's see what Mr. Scott Sanderson opting to go into pit row as well. Underneath our first caution of the night, single car drivers, single car spin out. Becky Whitmer out there on that KMA-TV chat getting to know her stuff. Well, I tell you what, Becky, as soon as we get Scott Sanderson safely back out here, we're going to talk to Scott and we're going to see if maybe what you're thinking is actually on mark. Scott Sanderson in a row getting out there, back there onto pit row. How about it, Scott? Have you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, I tell you, well, you have caused a great deal of controversy between me and my fan. We're talking up here in the KMA TV chat booth about why did you pit on lap 12 as the race leader. Becky's got her thoughts. I've got my thoughts. Why did you pit there on lap 12?
Well, don't overthink it. Just, long story short, we have severe thunderstorms in the area putting out tornado warnings, and in between qualifying and the race time, I forgot to switch back. And so I had qualifying tape on, and you know you can only go so long with 100% tape on, well, 80% tape. So it got up to, I think oil temp was 280, 285 I think to be exact, and I was like, hey, you know what, I'm going to save that fast repair and not blow the motor, and I'm just going to pit, and hopefully things worked out, and they did. So, you know, yeah, like I said, don't overthink it.
All right, copy that. Well, I tell you what, Becky was out there on the KMA TV chat, and she said in-car adjustment, and I was thinking fuel strategy, but I tell you what, ding, 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 Becky gets that call. Real quick shout-outs there, Scott.
Got to thank Nexus Racing. They provided this setup for me, and it's on rails. I tweaked it a little bit, and it's a blast to drive. I love this track, and as long as you got trained paints running, this all the armed forces and everybody that knows me, support them, and thank them for what they do. So,
all right, good luck to you, Scott.
Thanks, guys. Have fun.
All right, I got to tell you what, race fans, Becky Whitmer out there on point and on cue. Seeing Scott Sanderson go in there, but right now we've got Blake Heather, Travis Browder, side by side. Single car incident bringing out our very first caution of that night. Lap 23 of 177 to go. And I tell you what, we're already off to a better start than we were on Monday and Tuesday. All right, so good stuff out here tonight. Getting ready to go back to some green flag racing out here at New Hampshire. Pace cars in and away goes. The number 13 and the number 18 separated only by 5 numbers. Blake and Travis out there on a run for P1 and P2. But big action between Lee Staples and Edward Bray. Edward Bray backing up as Paul Pellizier comes underneath his sideline. Number 64 of Lee Staples. Edward Bray in the Hornets' nest. They are with the 31, Paul Pellizier, and Donald Stewart in the number 19, Boston Red Sox. Want to give a big shout out there. Oh, and Becky's like, right again. All right, Becky. All right, I tell you what, I'm going to get my guns out now. get out my carburetors out. We're going to Charlotte. I'm going to have to go into the dark side of the World Wide Web. I'm going to find some facts on Charlotte that you can't Google. Did you win a hat last night? Did you really? I did not know that. All right. Type it up. Tell me all the details, Becky. You must have been thinking Edward Bray. Now, Edward Bray won last night in our Thursday Night Thunder, our TNT, broadcast by Ronald Klein with RTK Motorsports. Becky won. Well, darn. I want a hat. I want a hat. I tell you what, though, I have got a secret out here with K-May and RTK, but I can't tell it. But, oh my goodness, oh no! Donald Stewart, oh, he's spinning. Will it bring it? Will it bring it? Did it bring it? Caution is out. All right, we're looking at Paul Pellizer into contact there with the number with Edward Bray, actually. So let me check those cameras up and find Mr. Edward and Edward Bray. All right, we're going to back that up to the contact with Edward Bray. Oh, no, say it isn't so, Flo. That is the number 93 of Scott Sanderson making contact with the number 93. Now, I'm not sure who's at fault. You know what, folks? Don't really care who's at fault. I'm going to back it up one more time on that rear chase. All I know is that the number 66 Edward Bray and Paul 93 Scott Sanderson take a little bit of a whipping right there. So here we go. I don't know, folks. I'm not going to call it, but Edward Bray getting on some very serious contact. But that'll put Blake Heather out there on that front line with our second caution of the night on lap 30. Blake Heather, Travis Browder, Brad Ream. Going to take a quick look at our running order. Becky, wanting to know what that secret is. I can't tell you that secret, but I tell you what, Becky, with your track record, you're going to get one. And I'm going to get one. And they're sticky. And they go places. Well, that doesn't sound too good. I don't know about that. But I tell you what, you know, we got a good run out here tonight. Lee Staples passing on by pit row. Going to get a chat in with a good friend, Lee Staples. How about it, Lee Staples? You got a copy.
Gotcha, Scott.
How you doing out there, brother?
Hanging on. How about you, man?
Hanging on like a hair in a biscuit, I tell you what. Now, how's your teammate? Did we have to call out the paramedics?
Not sure what happened to him. He claimed the wreck, but he wasn't so sure he was at fault. But he went ahead and claimed it. So,
you know, I looked at it too, and I don't know. I got it from 3 different angles, but there was contact between him and Scott Sanderson. I myself don't know, because, you know, I don't like to call that stuff, but I couldn't tell. Nonetheless, about your race, talk to us about the LA Graphics Chevy SS tonight and how you doing.
well, I'm okay. I don't think I have anything to challenge for the win, but as long as I run top 10, I'm a very happy camper. So things are good.
All right, what is the atmosphere out here on this track? Because Monday, you know, we ran 13 cautions. Tuesday, we ran 9. What are you thinking for tonight?
I think even though we've had a couple of cautions, guys have been a lot more cautious. It's been a lot more restrained. So that's a good thing.
All right, good luck to you, Lee.
Thank you, Scott.
All righty. We're back, getting ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. Lee Staples sitting back in 6th. Gary Whitmer sitting back in position 12. Big shout out there to the KNA fans out there on that KNA TV chat. And Becky Whitmer guessing out a honey bun. Well, no, okay. These things are things that you can decorate with. How about that? How about that? This is what I'm gonna win tonight. I tell you what, I want to keep Becky guessing. So there's sticky things you can decorate with. How about that? All right, Blake Heather out there on that front line along with Travis Browder. Number 24 of George Stratton in line with the number 78. Dunn stole Donald Stewart's number, making a big run on that outside lane with John Bunton, putting Scott Sanderson 2 spaces down. Second caution on lap 34 of 100. 78 done gone and stole Donald Stewart's number. Number 61 of Brad Ream. Lee Staples. Number 77 of Jack Watts. Jack Watts always showing his support for Pad. Pretty nice of that pad-aware driver. Ding, ding, ding. But I tell you what, I don't want to tell everybody else, Becky, but yes, sirree, Bob. Oh, I done broke confidentiality. I tell you what, you're going to get me in trouble now, Becky. Green Flag Racing here on lap 35 of 100. Now, a couple of years ago, we did have some T-shirts offered out by Jason Russo. I've still got 2 in my drawer. One I wear, one I keep for when the first one wears out. But we're hoping down the line to get our own hats, our own T-shirts. Maybe some other pretty cool stuff out there. So I want to give a big shout out there to RTK Motorsports for helping us out with a lot of cool stuff. Brad Ream running with RTK Motorsports in position 7. Ronald Klein sitting back in 11th position. So big shout out there to RTK Motorsports. Ronald Klein putting on the show for us Wednesday and on Thursday. Edward Bray pulling down a win last night. In the Thursday Night Thunder, Becky Whitmer winning a shirt. Pretty cool. I ain't even got my shirt yet. Oh my goodness. I guess I'm going to have to give up some broadcasts and go back out there to get into some racing to get my own T-shirt. I tell you what. Now, I'm still waiting to see Gary Whitmer out there. We got Gary Whitmer Jr. out there tonight, but I'm still waiting to see Gary Whitmer Sr. Gary Whitmer Jr. right now sitting in position 14th in the number 5. But I tell you what, that would be really cool to see father and son out here on this track. What would be even cooler is when the day comes to see father and son bring home a position 1 and 2. Now, we did see that with Donald and Ryan Sadetsky. It is hard. It is rough. It's a 1 in a million chance. But you know, Lee and Edward do it. Me and Lee's done it. Me and Edward's done it. Me and Cody used to do it all the time. So, you know, you'll get there. GW Senior. Lap 41 of 159 to go. 1 lead change. Blake Heather leading 29 laps. Scott Sanderson leading 12. Not a lot of draft involved out here tonight, folks. More so you against the track. Alrighty, big shout out there to Becky, stating that Gary Whitmer is on his way. Alrighty, now Becky's saying that the winner tonight has to buy a steak dinner with Mom included. Now, is that Mom Whitmer included or Mom whomever? Because if that's, I'm going to get my ass down there on that track right now because I'd like a steak dinner. And I'd like to take my mom out there to a steak dinner. Speaking of moms, you know, that is always way cool when our moms can come out here and take a look at us and keep up with us. Always involving the family. Blake Heather out there on that front line. Scott Sanderson. Now remember right here, Scott Sanderson taking that early pit stop to do that adjustment. Then that caution came out. Now that's putting Scott Sanderson only about 1.8 seconds back. 1.6 seconds back of our race leader. So Scott taking a big chance going in there to pit road. Caution fell down in his favor. Travis Browder sitting in third position. John Bunton sitting in fourth. Oh, I get it now. All right, so when Gary and Gary Sr. start racing, Becky's going to be getting a lot of steak dinners. All right, that'll be pretty cool right there. Might have to get into my plane and get my ass up there to Virginia and get some of that T-bone action. I'll tell you what. And I tell you what, that's going to be so cool for Mom Whitmer out there watching father and son out there racing. But I tell you what, you might want to get some earmuffs. Because I tell you what, one thing I found out about iRacing, the louder you crank that volume, the better it is. So I don't know, Mom Whitmer. Might have to get her some earmuffs. Speaking of earmuffs, we're going to get you down onto that gyro cam. You can crank it up just a little bit. In-car camera with Ronald Klein. On lap 48 of 100, almost at that halfway point. Now, if you listen carefully, you can hear the acceleration and the deacceleration. Acceleration right here. Deacceleration. Acceleration. Deacceleration. Topping up at 160 miles per hour. Down to 104, 103. Back into it at 130, 140, 150, 160. Back down to 104, 101. Haha, Becky Whitmer. The poor... Take that big subwoofer. You put that big subwoofer out there, right out that window. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what a great night tonight. Now, I don't know about Becky, but I need me a cup of coffee, and we got some bills to pay. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, ladies and gentlemen. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Hoping to get a very special guest up here in the booth tonight. So I'm out there on that KMA TV chat. How about it, Greg? Got a copy?
Yeah, Scott. How's it going tonight, buddy?
I'm doing good, Greg. Now, tonight is all about you. So right off the bat, I tell you, I've had a rough day at work. And if I've had a rough day at work, the old lady don't feel like cooking. You know, she's in a bitchy mood. You know, she's had a rough day with the baby, rough day with the kids. We want a very efficient, very cheap, as far as financial cost goes. We want a very easy, fast, effective night out. Where can I go?
Oh, my goodness. You can go to Blaze Pizza. You can go to blazepizza.com and put in your zip code and find the nearest one near you. And when you get there, you're going to have nothing but good customer service throughout the process. You shall have nothing but big friendly smiles, lively fun interactions. We always say yes. Zoom go really fast and we exceed expectations. We have over 40 toppings on our line, so you can get what you want, or you can go with one of our 8 signature pizzas that you can modify any way you like. And you will love this experience, and it's something different that if you haven't experienced it yet, you need to try it at least once. And I guarantee you it will change your mind about the way you have pizza.
But you know what, Greg? I really don't want to do anything. I mean, I don't want to sit in a drive-through. I don't want to have to check my order. I just pretty much want to say what I want and give you some money and you give me some food. So walk us from the process from once we walk inside that door.
Well, you'll be greeted by one of our lovely order takers, or maybe a guy, I'm not really sure. But anyway...
well, they're lovely too.
We're going to be greeted by an order taker that's going to come in and take your order. And as you proceed down the line, you'll first start with your sauce selection. We have signature sauces, spicy, white cream sauce, garlic pesto, or any sauce.
So I get to pick my basic sauce.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So what about the cheeses? Then I tell you guys that I want cheese this and pepperoni that.
Oh, absolutely. As you go through the cheese section, which is the next section in line, we have 7 different cheeses that you can select from. And our cheese, Pizzaolo, will go ahead and put your cheese on and pass you down the line to the meats, where you have your choice of meats. We have, oh my goodness, we have meats. Then you go to the veggie section. You'll place your request with the Pizzaolo there. They'll place your toppings on, and you'll move down with sea salt or oregano to top it off. We'll fast fire that bad boy in 180 seconds, and you guys are good to go. You're out the door in 3 minutes or less.
Well, now in my case, when I was up there with my wife, we were at our table in like 3.5 minutes. And you know, something that I really noticed, in a lot of these, I wouldn't call you fast food because, you know, I go to the Ronald McDonald place and there's crap all over the floor. And I even go to Red Lobster and there's crap all over the floor. But when I went to my Blaze Pizza up there in Bloomington Normal, I noticed a very clean environment. And I was very happy eating in-house. But I tell you what, talk to us about the cost-wise, because you got some major pizza places, and we're not going to get into naming names, but for a family of 4, for my family of 4 in my region, we were talking less than $28.
Absolutely, Scott. We provide value. That's one of the things that drew me to this company in the beginning. And go back to another point that you made. One of our mantras of our company in our mission statement is, I call it a number 3, and that's maintain sparkling cleanliness. People eat with their eyes, and if you go to a restaurant, one of the first things you want to see is a clean bathroom, and we just take that throughout the restaurant on a daily basis. So that is a mantra of ours, and we stand by it, and we're very serious about it. We try to keep the store as well as clean as possible.
Well, and something I really appreciate, now you're going to laugh at me, maybe you won't, but the cups. We're not talking styrofoam crap here. The cups that I actually, my wife and I, every time I go to Blaze, you know, I'm a souvenir collector. And we're using your cups from 2 months ago on my dinner table like tonight. They're not junk cups. They're good solid cups. The straws are there. The bathrooms are clean. I'm just, dude. I'm gonna head up there tomorrow. I tell you what.
Scott, before I even get started, that is a brainchild of Rick and Elise Wetzel. I trained out in California with these folks, and they showed me what they're doing. And here in the Midwest, I got Mr. Rodney Walker and Ryan Fauble, Chuck Gonzalez, Scott Stevenson, as well as all the guys that make all this possible. And you will not be cheap played by anything. These cups that we use are very, very, very sturdy, and you're going to need it because we have unlimited refills. We have 4 different lemonades. I think some locations, especially one out west, they have as many as 30 different beverage choices.
Nice. Now talk to me though. You said a minute and 30 seconds. When I was there, your cooker, your grill, your cooker, your fireplace, it looked better than my fire pit in my backyard. A lot of bricks, a lot of flame. We're talking you put those burger guys, those flame broiled stuff to shame. Talk to me about that mechanism.
We have wood-fired pizza, folks. A Blaze Pizza is born with the oven being built first. That's the first thing that's installed. And once that bad boy hits its optimum temperature, it will fast fire your pizza on the bottom, give you a nice golden brown crust, evenly spread single layer of toppings, and you're gonna love it. It's just basically tailor-made, and like I said, the people that I thanked earlier, they made all this possible, and for me to be in the position I am in right now.
All righty, one more question. Now talk to us about tonight's race. Now, Monday we served out, talking about serving with Blaze Pizza. Now Monday we served out 13 cautions. Tuesday we served out 3 wide action here with Blake, and that's going to bring out a caution. Are you watching this live? No caution.
What?
Did you see that, Greg?
Oh my goodness, I'm stunned.
You saw that with Blake Heather coming around. That you saw. I don't even know who that. I'm staying on live action, but I tell you what. Now Monday we served out. Unlike Blaze, we didn't do a good job Monday. We served out 13 cautions. Tuesday we served out 9. But tonight we've had 2 on 73 laps. And right there, I'm not going to get off a live view, but oh my God, these guys are kicking butt.
You know, Scott, with age comes wisdom, and the more you run these tracks and these different cars, the guys finally are starting to get it. They have the understanding at a track like New Hampshire, it's all about throttle control and patience. A lot of that is being demonstrated by our drivers over here at KMA and all the other teams that comprises this group. Patience is the key to running New Hampshire. Yes, you have a lot of horsepower under your hood, but on a long run, you can run the risk of running your tires off, and if you pit a lot earlier than a lot of these guys do, and if it stays green, it's a good possibility you're going to get caught a lap down. And it's just a race that is actually kind of developed from the Xfinity cars this week and the trucks earlier in the week. The guys are really putting on their best possible effort and their best foot forward tonight, learning from previous experiences during the week.
Now, next week, going to Indianapolis. Indianapolis is a very precise turns 1 and 2. Same size as 3 and 4. Long back stretch, 1, 2. Long front stretch, 3, 4. Very monotonous. Hard on it, letting off, getting back in. Hard on it, letting off, getting back in. It's identical, repetitive motion next week in Indianapolis. What are your thoughts heading for Indianapolis next week with the Xfinities on Monday, open set, And we might have to go open set on Tuesday because iRacing done screwed up our fixed set, and with the open set on Friday. So what are your number 13 in the pit row? All right, cameras are on number 13 while we're watching Blake Heather in pit row. Talk to us about Indianapolis.
Well, Indianapolis is a venue that warrants horsepower as well as handling, especially over a long run. They're racing there this week. Actually, I'll be down at the race this weekend myself, viewing it live and roasting with everyone else, apparently. But Indianapolis is a very precise racetrack, and if you ask from driver to driver, all the turns are different. Even though it's a symmetrical racetrack, there are 4 distinct corners. They're all the same, but the drivers will tell you ask Kyle Busch a few years ago. Matter of fact, it was last year when he went into the corner and he breathed the throttle and went back in it. I have never seen that before. He was going after it, and his car was set up for it. So in an open set situation, somebody can get their car dialed in, and they may be able to drive away from people. I like to err on the side of caution and build my run, set up for the long run, and use pit strategy to advance my position, provided that no cautions come out. And this is a big track, 2.5 miles. You would think that the cautions would be sporadic, but they do happen. But Indianapolis tends to have long flag runs, and it usually comes down to pit strategy and fuel economy.
All right, watching the number 93. Now, 93, Scott Sanderson just did complete his green flag pit stop. But, now thinking back, Scott Sanderson went in on lap 12, and he had to do an adjustment. He left his tape. He was taped up, had to go in lap 12. Caution came out, saved his ass, and he is right now in first place. But we just did see him go in, and right now he's upside the number 64. But when he went in, he only took right side tires. So back to tonight's race at New Hampshire with 81 laps in, 19 to go. Do you think he made the right call with only taking right sides? Because we all know that no matter how much fuel you get, you basically get a free set of tires. It's that second set of tires that'll slow you down.
Well, Scott, Mr. Sanderson is an experienced driver. I've known this guy for a little while, and basically he took 2 tires to get track position, and he's experienced enough to where he should be able to maintain, if not try to stretch out his lead. So at this particular juncture of the race, I think he made the right call. His car seems to be handling very well. He's not being pressured by anyone, so he can drive his race and conserve if he needs to, and he's in good shape right now.
All right, now we're bouncing back through that field. Talk to us about John Bunton. Now, he's one of your guys. He's right now in 5th. He started out in 6th. So, I don't know, he's in a pretty good position. But I'm going to flash up how far back he is. But while I do that, okay, he is sitting back.
Seconds.
Yeah, but he's 12 seconds back. Talk to us about your driver, John Bunton.
Well, my driver's affiliated with a group called Dark Horse Racing, and I basically was brought into iRacing from my previous sim experiences, and I was on a hunt for a lot of guys that I had previous experience with, and I found Dark Horse Racing, and they had a lot of guys that I raced with previously. So this is a group that I have had multiple years of experiences racing with, quality core group of guys and a very fast group of guys. And I thought this would be a great opportunity for them to come in and be a positive contributor to what we're doing over here at KMA Racing. Absolutely. It's a good old soul there. He's a veteran, and he is a class act in our group, and he is very consistent. I like to call him Steady Eddie. He's not gonna, if he qualifies well and keep his equipment together for an entire run, look out. But he's very steady. He will not pressure you. If you need by, he will give you carte blanche. He just looks forward to putting his best foot forward each and every week without causing any problems. Steady Eddie, as I call him. Well, that's as a result of Scott's pit strategy, as well as the 13. We have quite a bit of gap between first to sixth, and there's a bunch of cars at least one lap down. So if no caution comes out and the first two drivers, they will probably have. Let's see here. Uh-oh. Absolutely. Scott. Well, Scott is actually on a rail, so, I mean, this guy has been on fire the entire night, and the 13's been very consistent, but pit strategy. Uh-oh. That would be the 125 of Lee Ryerson Jr. Well, basically, he entered the corner, and as I'm looking, I mean, he's running his line, his normal line, and he's coming off the corner, and it appears that he got into the wall and drifted down to the inside wall and smashed his car on the inside, which basically destroyed his engine, and he was on the bus stop area there, and he brought his car back onto the racing surface, and he's nursing his he's nursing his car back to pit road at this point. He's basically clutching it to make sure that he makes it back without bringing out the caution, which is very smart on his part. But he's actually hit pit road, and he's under repairs right now. Well, as he's coming off the corner, he's at the apex right now, and he's gradually applying throttle. His car's very tight at this point because he's got that right side damage going. But as he's entering turn 3, he's off the gas again and letting his car drift up into that third lane. Accelerates a little more. He's a little higher than he probably needs to be. He's probably he's allowing faster cars to go by because he's extraordinarily tight with that damage. I'm getting a little. No, absolutely not. I mean, this race was pretty much as with the green flag runs progressed. This, had writing was on the wall pretty much there. Blake gave it his best shot, but he's trying to get a last-minute surge in here.
And I tell you what, he's going to get that last-minute surge in here very soon. But I tell you what, you don't want to screw up your competition here. But, right now, Scott Sanderson, even though he had went in for that early pit stop, and I'm thinking tonight that Scott might have been Becky's boy because, he went in early, and Scott Sanderson might win this out tonight.
Well, that pit strategy comes into play once again, and Scott Sanderson, barring any mistakes, will win this race because...
Well, assuming he's got enough fuel.
Oh, yeah, I think he does. He's in great shape right now. He played the great strategy with the 2 tires, gave him the gap that he needed to win the race.
All right, so we're going to be looking at Scott Sanderson, Blake Heather, and Travis Browder. Is that what you got on your records?
Absolutely.
All righty, we're going to get these drivers up here for a driver interview here very shortly. So I'm going to move Travis up, and I'm going to let you take control of Travis.
10-4. Here
you go.
Travis, Greg McCollum in the KMA booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Greg.
Good evening, buddy. How's it going tonight, man?
Hey, it was good. I was tired all night, but hey, it was a fun race, man. Green flag pit stops.
That's what we like around here at KMA Racing. You guys put on a great show tonight. Tell me about your race tonight because it looks like a little pit strategy got you behind the 8 ball a little bit.
Yeah, I had to short pit a little bit so I could try to see if I could pick up a distance with Blake and Scott, but they were the 2 fastest cars the whole race. But I tell you what, it came down to John and I. They were battling for that last podium finish because we went at it pretty much all night. Because the 78 was a little better on the longer runs as we went, but hey, he gave everything he got behind me. But it was a lot of fun racing with that 78 there at the end, especially Jason Russo there at the end. A lot of fun.
Yeah, I was tracking Jason Russo throughout the race, and he was in the back, and already in my mind, I knew that somebody's going to have to deal with Jason Russo at some point. Tell me about your pit stop, your last pit stop, and your track position at that point, and what were you thinking that with some pit stops that you made and whatever strategy you used, whether it was 2 tires or 4 tires, how'd you feel at that spot?
I took 4 tires on the last pit stop. I mean, 4 tires is the way to go here in these Cup cars because, it's track positions, everything here at New Hampshire, and it's so hard to pass here. And I mean, I had a really, really fun night. That's all that matters. But congratulations to the podium, and the Interstate Batteries Camry was good, and we'll go on to Indy next week.
10-4, Travis. You have anybody you want to thank real quick?
You guys in the booth, you Scott for KMA TV, and you tonight for the tonight's sponsor, Greg, for Blaze Pizza. Big shout out to Maximum Velocity and my teammate Blake that was here tonight, and all the guys that were here.
Big 10-4, Travis. We're going to move on to our second place finisher.
All righty, how about it, Blake Heather? Have you got a copy?
Sure do, Scott.
All right, I tell you what. Now you're a newcomer to the KMA Racing League, but my goodness, you came out here and strutted your stuff. Talk to me about your night.
Oh, we had a pretty solid car there, and I feel like the way lap traffic kind of played out, it hurt me here and there. I got shoved on the bottom. Scott got 2 seconds on me. I don't know if he would have caught me or not, but he sure had a strong car.
All right, now talking about the cars. Now you're in the Camry tonight. We saw a lot of guys in the Chevy. Tell our fans, is there an actual difference here between the Chevy and the Camry versus the short track versus the push pack of Talladega?
It's all looks.
It's all what?
It's all looks.
Looks. It's all so they're all the same.
They all run the same. They all run the same. Well, it depends on the driver, I guess. They all run the same, but it depends how fast they go with the driver.
All right, now I am showing you, as they call it out there on the interstate with the Smokies, a plain white wrapper, but you're in a plain black wrapper. So tell us about any fans or sponsors or any girlfriends or wives or Tell us who's out there rooting you on tonight.
Well, as anybody that watched last week, got my little girl. She's my #1 fan. I don't got anything lined up right now. Just kind of running the races and seeing if I can attract any eyes out there.
And is there any precedence under the lucky number 13?
No, it was my next favorite number. Usually I run 7, but I think that one was occupied, so I had to choose a different one.
And Indianapolis next week?
Fun track, for sure. Fun track, very long.
Oh, you're not going to get out that easy with a fun track. It's very long. Come on, talk to us about your thoughts about Indy next week.
I'm looking forward to it. You know, it's going to be a fun time. I can, hopefully anyways, if everything goes right.
All righty, good job there for Blake Heather. All right, Greg, I'm going to let you take on Scott.
Mr. Sanderson, Greg McClendon up in KMA booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
God, my man. You were, as they would say, on a rail tonight, buddy. Talk to me about your night. Congratulations on your win.
Well, as you guys know, the night started off awful between all the storms and whatnot. I mean, I was kind of had one eye on the radar and one eye on trying to make this thing faster. And Nexus Esports, they gave me a heck of a baseline setup to work off of, and was able to get about another 2/10 out of it. And went into qualifying and just botched the transfer from qualifying to race, and had to end up going to the back. Got into a little bit of traffic. I don't know if it was my fault or if it was whoever was on the outside. I'll be honest, I don't even know who was on the outside of me. But was finally able to get back up to the front, and luckily lap traffic played in my favor there at the end, and was able to catch Blake there. And I don't know, much like he said, I don't know if I would have caught him without the lap traffic or not, but we're able to get past him, and then I wasn't even looking at the fuel, so I didn't know we weren't going to make it until Blake pitted, so I had to kind of make a last ditch effort there and took 2 tires and just kind of, I don't know, everything kind of worked out in our favor there after I botched it at the start.
Yeah, we had our cameras on you at that point, and we were listening to you, and it's like, oh, he still has his qualifying set in, and it just worked out in your favor. You caught a caution, and you were able to basically drive your way around lap traffic. Lap traffic wasn't in your favor early in the run. You had a little collision with the 66 of Eddie Bray, and I thought that was going to pretty much be the nail in your coffin, but you somehow survived, and you have an extraordinary set that allowed you to overcome, and late in the run where you had to have lap traffic cooperate for you, it did, and it allowed you to extend your lead. Tell me about that feeling that when you took your 2 tires and you kind of had a little pit in your stomach going, oh my goodness, did I make the right decision? What was your thinking process at that point?
Well, it happened so fast, there was no thinking in it. I was like, all right, well, I got a good lead. There's not many laps left. I had to take 2 tires, so it was either 2 tires or nothing. And I think Blake took 2 also. I don't know, but he was catching me there at the end. But I think I was overdriving it, and the car was a little loose to start. And when I had 2 tires on it, I think I was just kind of easing it a little bit because I wasn't sure what it was going to do.
Yeah, I noticed late in the run where Blake was actually making some inroads towards gaining ground on you. 2 tires seemed to be the call of the race, basically, because enabled you to extend your lead and basically trap a lot of people a lap down. I think there was only maybe 4 to 6 cars on the lead lap tonight. Congratulations on that effort tonight.
Thank you.
Is there anybody that you would like to give a special shout out to on KMA TV tonight?
Hey, I got a couple people. Like I said during that first interview there, all the veterans and officers, firefighters, EMTs, everybody like that. They are what make this country who we are and allow us to do fun things like this on our racing and just live our lives and let us do what we need to do. They sacrifice sometimes everything, and we owe it all to them. And then you guys up in the booth and everybody at KMA, Scott, and everybody, they allow us to run out here and try to keep us under control. Sometimes that don't work, sometimes it does, but they allow us to put on a show for the fans. Hopefully the fans enjoyed it. And I gotta thank a special shout out this time. I gotta thank Brian Pager and Ty Stanley. They're over here yelling in my ear all the time. So if I'm over here stuttering in my interview, it's because they're trying to distract me. So I'm gonna put them on the spot.
Alrighty, big shout out there to Vets Roll, VETSROLL.org. Alrighty, one more special interview. How about it, Ronald Klein? Get a copy.
Yes, sir. Scott, go ahead.
All right, so Ron, I do got to ask you, sir, because you've been out here. You are my co-announcer. Now, tonight, wow, 2 cautions. Now, we've gone from 13 to Monday and 9 to Tuesday and the 2 to tonight. What do you think, sir, was the difference?
I think people are scared of the car. They know that it's got a lot of horsepower. They know not to make such drastic moves, and the throttle control was better. We saw some different names in here tonight. It was a tough race. There was a lot of incidents out there that didn't bring out the caution flag, fortunately, but we still had some incidents out there. A lot of great saves that kept us from having some cautions. I would say we probably could have had 5 or 6 cautions, but the drivers did a phenomenal job of saving them. You know, if there was an incident, and a lot better awareness of what they're driving and the track. I think they learned from Monday and Tuesday. So,
Do me a favor.
Go ahead there, Greg.
Hey, Ronald, do me a favor, buddy, and I just want to, well, before I say that, I just want to personally thank you for all the hard work that you put into KMA TV, helping us out with the group and helping out with setups. Your night kind of was a little shaky, you got out to a great start, and once you attained that damage by colliding into the wall, it seems to kind of level out your night. And tell me about your thought process going into that once you obtained damage, and you probably didn't know it was going to wind up being a long green flag run, but for my mentality, I know I have one reset, and I'm trying to cherish that bad boy until the end. What was your thought process at that point when you collided with the wall slightly?
I actually had a couple touches with the wall, so I'm not exactly sure which one you're talking about, but pretty much the entire night I just kind of was going into it with the mentality of just drive the car, drive the track. Don't worry about who's in front of you, don't worry about who's behind you. It's hard not to look in your mirrors, it's hard not to go, oh wow, geez, so-and-so's right behind me, but you just got to put that out of your mind and stop the urge to race that person and race the track. You know, there's some really fast guys out here. We saw that tonight with Scott Sanderson and Blake. I mean, they were kind of in a league of their own, and then Travis and John, they were kind of in the league of their own as well. So the rest of us have a lot of catching up to do, but for tonight, this is my first week. I hate to admit this, but it's the first time I've raced this racetrack. So I've never been to New Hampshire before, and this is kind of always the case with me. I'll get better as time goes on each time we visit here. Didn't have a lot of time to get a lot of practice in. I did get some practice in today, which is why I was a little bit smoother, but yeah, as you said, after the wreck, I was really just trying to hang on, see if a caution would come out, because I knew that I chose to stay out and see. I played the pit strategy, you know, and chose to stay out see if a caution would come out, maybe make up some positions that way. When it didn't come out, you're forced to pit at that point, and when you're out there dancing and skating around on old tires for 10 or 15 laps longer than other guys, you know, they're making up 2 to 3 seconds a lap on you. So I ended up basically going from 10th to 17th, so not the greatest. I think maybe actually 16th, but not the greatest finish, but it's racing.
All right, we're looking at Scott Sanderson, Blake Heather, Travis Browder, John Button, Jack Watts, David Buttersworth, Lee Staples, George Stratton, Jason Russo, Donald Stewart, top 10. All right, Greg, lead us out.
Well, this was a very exciting race tonight. Previous lessons learned, and we kept the cautions down to a minimum, and we're off to Indianapolis next week. And it's going to be very exciting, guys, because I really feel that these guys are going to start dialing in these setups, and they're going to be able to put on a show for KMA TV like you've never seen before.
All right, one more big shout out there to Blaze Pizza.
Thank you, Scott, and had fun tonight, buddy.
All righty, thank you there, Greg, for joining us, and we are KMA TV. I am Greg. Oh, my goodness. I wish I was Greg, because I'd be working for the greatest company on earth, Blaze Pizza. All right, he is Greg. I am Scott, and we are out of here. We are KMA TV. All right, Greg, thank you much.
Thank you, Scott. Love you guys out in the YouTube land for supporting us. Thank you.
And we are out of here.